Firstly, I want to make something very clear. This isn't a hate video. I don't hate Donkey Crew. I don't hate Last Oasis. I just want this game to be good. I know it can be, and I understand that making games is hard, and that you can't please everybody, but you can please some people. Donkey Crew tried to please what seemed like everybody and no one at the same time, and now look where it's ended up. It really is a case study on how a good game with a good concept can be ruined by bad decision after bad decision. The attitude of the devs also didn't help. Recently, they've announced that at some point, Season 6 is coming out, along with mod support. Whether this is too little too late is something we'll have to see. Most people by now know that the studio for the most part has moved on to Bellwright, some shitty Valheim clone. They have, however, left a few sorry souls to work on this once beloved game, including Brian the Hacker, someone who was able to introduce mods in The Last Oasis despite the game not officially supporting them. Again, is this too little too late? I know it isn't much, but I genuinely did enjoy the game. I have 1.7k hours in it for a reason. I've played since launch. Season 5 was just the last straw for me. Will the game come back? I don't know. Will I be back? Yeah, I hope to be. And I want to make content again for the game. I actually did have a video in the works for a while when private servers were going on, but when everything died, I just sort of lost motivation to continue editing. Not to mention, when the studio started making updates, I assumed the game was dead and that it would be abandoned. So, like a moron, I deleted all my footage. The devs made an announcement that, again, mods in Season 6 are in the works. When the release date is, who knows? But it is coming. Maybe. Look, I know it's very easy to be doomer about all of this, but who knows? Mods could revive the game. God knows where DayZ would be without mods. Maybe when the official gets stale, people start filtering into modded servers, and that is if any modders even come to the game. Time will have to tell. The question is, well, what would I want from this game? Or, more importantly, maybe what would you want from this game? Firstly, I think everyone can agree that most of the shit from Season 5 just didn't work. The PvE stuff was fun, but the bullshit sandstorms, traveling tunnels, quality, schematics, please just delete that from the next season. I promise no one will miss it all too much. The tablet system offered logical progression from early game to end game and gave clans and groups a set goal of things they needed to farm for. I understand the main complaint from the dev team was that the progression system became too obsolete too quickly for big groups, but unfortunately, that's just what tends to happen. Big groups are obviously going to progress through a system like this far quicker than anyone else. That's the nature of the game that's been created. Some easier fixes can be implemented, such as making it so getting tablets and fragments is a bit harder, as well as making it so tablets have unique properties that only allow them to be used to learn certain types of recipes. Make it so PvE monsters drop specific materials used in weapon and walker crafting. This would make it so monsters aren't obsolete and still serve a purpose and would still need to be farmed. Just going over the quality system really quick. Why? Just why? It was a good system that had a lot of depth to it and was very rewarding to go through and finally make it all the way to quality 100. The complaint, again from the dev team, was that the system was too complicated and required outside assistance to understand. Listen, I was most certainly no farmer when the game was actually playable, but even I, a Neanderthal, understood how it worked. Dear God, the game have any sort of nuance and depth to it that maybe, just maybe, you need some help or a guide to understand if you're having a bit of trouble. Honestly, I don't understand how this couldn't be an insult to people's intelligence, and I'm just going to leave this moronic decision at that. Thankfully, I don't really need to go into why these are bad. Just remove them, for the love of God. Bring the old system back. My next section here covers the topic of clans. Clans are something that will always be in the game, and I really think Donkey Crew should lean into this. The game is meant to be played in a group. Refer to this interview given by Chads in 2019 at Gamescom.
Wie stark werde ich als Spieler darauf angewiesen sein, in einer Gruppe zu spielen, beziehungsweise gegen andere Spieler anzutreten? Gibt es eine Möglichkeit für mich auch Singleplayer Spaß zu haben und PvE einfach zu erleben und so meine Geschichte fortzuführen?
Ja, also wir haben versucht und wir versuchen noch immer unser Spiel, soweit es geht, als Solospiel auch spielen zu können. Natürlich ist ein Multiplayer-MMO.
I would say make it so clans can make their own missions. Say a bounty system was introduced, much like More Online 2 has. Make the world and its players interact a little more naturally. Maybe make a clan recruitment board in the game so that clans can advertise on it. Stuff like this would encourage interaction between groups that isn't just, me want loot, me zero walker. Keep in mind, a lot of this is coming from somebody who actually enjoys playing the game solo. But playing survival games solo isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be a grind. I'm sure you're sick of hearing that the game is far too tailored to groups, but honestly, you can't please everyone. So please the majority of your fan base, not the loud minority. More people play in groups than play in solo duos. Of course, you can introduce concepts that can be tailored to these people, but your main focus should honestly be encouraging group play and coordination. I don't understand why more clan content and oriented things aren't introduced. You could argue that big mobs like the Worm were meant to be content tailored for big groups, and that I won't argue, but it just feels like the end game is a wide puddle an inch deep. To be honest, this is something a lot of MMOs tend to suffer from, but LO is unique that it's got such a wide net it could cast if it could just make the net. If I'm being real here, this video was more of a rant than a critique video. Like I said, I don't hate the game. I would say it's actually one of my favorite games of all time. I just hate to see what it's become. It feels like if real time was put in and a true effort to listen to the community was given, this could be the next big survival game. It feels like the only thing holding it back is the effort willing to be put forth by the dev team. Refer to Chad saying Last Oasis sucks. If it didn't before, it sure as shit does now. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this game could be great. But people are just tired of the constantly bad updates and the lack of communication by the dev team. Even now, the last official statement put out by the devs was in September. They've talked in Discord plenty about sometime next year and how legal proceedings are a work in progress. But apparently, they can't tell that most people aren't lurking in LO General to keep up with the game. A general announcement saying, hey, we're still working on it, things are going alright, blah blah blah, would be just fine. Something, anything to satiate my thirst for content, please. But really, this is all the effort I'm willing to put into a video about a dead game. See ya.